Hey guys, what's going on? This is Deadly. Welcome back for some more DayZ 0.62. This morning there was a persistency and character wiped, which seems to affect vehicles for the most part. We spent most of the morning driving around a bus and it was working great. Like, we were going at 60 kilometers per hour. It was not being janky like it was yesterday. And there was a few things though. Whenever you got a little bit close to the side of the road, or if you got near a road sign, or in certain areas it felt like there was a few invisible walls. Especially in some of the, like, if you're close to the new foliage in forests, there seems to be a little bit of confusion there with the vehicles, but they are working a lot better than 0.61 already. And if this can just remain, then the vehicles are actually working smooth enough for me to basically be happy with them and actually want to build them and use them. As well as, like, if you get close to something, if you crash something, or if you get it stuck in a village or a town, it's kind of forces you to get out of the vehicle and go and search for things, which is exactly what happened to us. We were in Severograd and we actually popped one of our front tires, and we had to get out, take the tire off, search for a new bus wheel, put it on the bus, and it was functioning again. So in previous patches with the vehicles, you used to be able to drive with 3 tires quite fine, but that is just not the case now. So you will need to repair your ruined tires in order to get your vehicles to function properly. So just be mindful of that. But I would recommend that you guys go back out there and check out the cars now, because yesterday they just were not working. I'm not too sure what they changed, but give it a shot and let me know what you guys think and how they feel. Or if you guys find vehicles that are currently not functioning, like let's say the ladder is still broken, let me know in the comment section below. I'd like to know. Now, there also seems to be significant reduced food spawns, so you might have to go hunt, kill chickens, fish, harvest crops to maintain a solid food source. But sadly, apple glitching is still a thing, so I guess you could just exploit that, and I expect many people to be doing so. But I think the developers should take this opportunity to make all of the apple trees spawn rotten apples. This would be a great test to see how the other food mechanics work at this level of food scarcity. Now, I've been able to find food while looting when the server is fresh, and when I'm solo, it's fine. Not too much of a challenge. It seems to, yeah, it's definitely noticeable. Like, there's definitely a lot less food, but as a lone survivor, you can make it work. But the real challenge happens whenever you group up with a few other players, because there just isn't enough food to go around. And we try to not exploit the apple glitch at all. We don't have many issues with picking apples, like sitting there and just playing the RNG slot machine and trying to get them. But you know, it's not as fun because you're limiting your entire experience by forcing yourself to just choose this one option. So we were actually trying to kill zombies for food, killing Dean zombies. We killed a zombie and even cooked a mackerel, which was something that was kind of cool. So in the future, I'm not actually going to be picking apples at all for the most part, unless I have no other option and I got to get 1 or 2 in me to survive. Just to kind of test out some other fun mechanics. I encourage you guys to do so, or if a developer is listening, I do encourage you guys to disable those apple trees, man. It's going to make a lot of people upset, but I mean, you're taking away an exploit, so they shouldn't be too mad in my opinion. Now, with that challenge in mind, we were struggling to find food and water. Well, water you can easily find at ponds and in wells, but for the most part in certain areas, especially deep into Tizzy, there's only a few areas, and the radio tower near the tents has some creeks and ponds nearby, and also east of Tizzy. So Grinch and I decided to go and drink at one of the ponds, and he fell off the radio tower. And sadly, we had no other food option. I wasn't able to make it to Cinestock. There wasn't any rosehip bushes nearby, and there were not any apple trees nearby, and nobody had food. So Johnny and I, we had to eat Grinch, and it kept us alive to get some more food in Vavalovo down the road. So thank you, Grinch, for that. And for that being said, you should always carry charcoal tabs. You never know when you're going to be finding deer, cows, or unfortunately people that you might need to eat. And again, this is only for players that are choosing not to glitch the apple trees. Or, I mean, you can obviously sit on an apple tree and pick as many apples as you want the natural way. I don't see much of an issue with that, but you will still stay alive. It's just going to take a lot more time for you to collect the apples that you need, and you can just rely on those for your food solution this patch if you choose. So for those that are really struggling, just picking apples the proper way, or rose hips, will actually make you survive. And if you're wondering, rose hips, what are those? They're the red berries. So don't eat the blueberries, eat the red berries, and you'll be okay. Now, there was one thing yesterday that I forgot to mention. Sway has been significantly reduced on all of the weapons, and this has been a complaint that everyone's been having for a very long time. Since Sway was actually introduced to the game, everybody has been wanting it to get dialed back a bit, and they've done that. It still feels good whenever you're at full run speed. It feels natural and it feels like realistic, but you have a lot more control. So for players that were struggling with that, you're going to be finding PvP to be a lot easier. This is going to be a big buff for players that like to use Blazes, Winchesters, and Mosinagants whenever you're hunting players, because you're not going to have to deal with that intense sway when you're using your optics as much as you used to in the past. Unless, of course, you're a cannibal like me in this situation. And speaking of reticles, they actually updated the PU scope. The reticle isn't as thick anymore, it's a lot skinnier. Might make it a little bit better for long-range sniping. I wasn't aware of this too, going back to the bus, but buses can also kill players, and I believe it's the only vehicle in the game currently that can run over zombies and people. So just keep that in mind. Jonny unfortunately died messing around with the bus when we first got it going, so just be careful about that. Or if you see somebody shooting at your bus, you are able to run them over. For the other vehicles, I'm pretty sure still you cannot actually run people over, so just be mindful of that too. And yesterday, I showcased the new castle near Lapatino, but we ran out of food and water this time when we were exploring a little bit further into the woods. So we decided to run towards Mishkino. I was completely lost in this new redesigned area, and it's perfect for woodland PvP. Jonny, unfortunately, when he got to the base, wasn't able to find enough food and water and passed out, dehydrating to death. I considered eating him to allow me to stay alive, but I took a risky rush to Mishkino town, and unfortunately, this is what happened. There's nothing, dude, you're gonna need to have a hacker pour it right on top of you and give you what you need, because like, I'm hit.
Say again?
I'm getting shot at. From I have no idea where. Killed him. I'm unconscious. I got attacked by an uncon by a group moving in on the tents. One guy is down. The other one I have no idea. Aces was able to feed Jonny enough human steak from the players that he killed. He was able to take out a couple and keep him alive. Jonny was at 17 blood. That's right, 17 blood, losing 4 blood per second. So he was at the very last leg of his life, but he was able to survive thanks to Aces just stuffing him with human meat. It's really disgusting when you think about it, but it's an epic survival story. Sadly though, Aces was ambushed by the Green Mountain Nomads, who moved into the area, and they didn't know it was us, because if they knew it was us, then we wouldn't have been killed. I actually tried to contact them on the radio a few minutes before I died, but I was killed and the radio was ruined. So Aces was just doing his best to keep Jonny alive. He was ambushed and sadly killed. Now Jonny was just laying down inside the ghillie bunker, and the GMN decided to test out and see what his name was, and of course it was Jonny. So they contacted him on Steam, and they fed him a bunch of food and water, and slowly his blood started to rise up to 500, and he woke up and he survived. Almost an hour after he was knocked out in the ghillie bunker, he pulled through and lived. And having the status icon in the top right corner gives you a lot of information, and it will tell you if you are actually going to get up or if you're going to die. And I really like it. I do like having the debug monitor. I kind of wish it was an option for stable, but I do understand for immersion reasons that wouldn't be something that you would want to do. But in this particular situation, it could be somebody who is sitting down wasting hours of their time waiting for their character to wake back up, or knowing that your blood is not regenerating and forcing yourself to respawn. It was just a crazy epic story, and one of the coolest survival stories I've seen so far in DayZ 0.62. This game is coming together, guys. This is a good patch. There's not a whole lot of crashes. I have not hit a single lag bubble yet. There's been a few memory leaks. The blackface bug has been fixed to our knowledge. I have not seen anybody with it, but there are some issues still. Like for example, this afternoon at Tizzy Base, for some reason, Aces and I were, or Jonny, myself, and Grinch were completely invisible to Aces. and we don't know really what caused that. We just were completely invisible to him. And that might be something that you might have to deal with. You might run into an invisible player that can kill you, which is super unfortunate. So if they can kind of get those bugs under control before Stable Branch, then it's going to be a really exciting time. But I wanted to ask you guys how you're enjoying the patch so far. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and if there's anything you should suggest that I should check out and test. But I also want to ask you guys how you're enjoying the patch so far, so let me know what you guys are doing in the comment section below, and if you have any suggestions on things that I should be testing or places that I should be exploring, then please let me know, and I'll see you guys during the daily live streams every single morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and here on the channel for some more .62 gameplay.